And there you have it.
Have a good night.
Bye. Before I go any further, let me address some comments because I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of whenever I have to have a direct moment with a woman, oh, Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch my show. If that's how you feel, do not watch it. Because when I have a man up here, there's nothing but women. Actually, let me talk about this. I have a guy on my Facebook page right now who's in a jacuzzi. And there are so many women in the comments saying he's gay, he's this, he's a sissy, he's giving me feminine vibes. You women don't have any problems expressing yourself when it's something negative to a male. But let a woman come up here and we have to have a real talk moment. All of a sudden, I don't like this show because I feel low. You don't like this show because your ass don't want to take direct criticism. And you know what? That's why your ass is going to be watching me as long as I do the show. And you ain't going to get a man because you're not strong enough to woman up and maybe realize there's some shit you got to get together. Okay? So I'm really done with the sensitive women that watch the show that are always complaining when I got to give a woman real talk. And I do it in the most sensitive way as possible. If you guys ever notice, it's exhausting. It really is. So I don't want you to watch my show no more. If you feel as though I'm making someone feel low, this show ain't for you. Go do something else with your Saturday night, with your Friday night, with your life. Because I'm over it. Especially when women are literally more mean than the men on my show. Go to the comments on my page. It is 80% women saying the negative things. I'm over that shit. So if you guys can dish it, learn how to take it. And it's that simple. I'm not going to sit up here walking on eggshells, talking to women when they got crazy shit happening in their lives because you guys are so freaking sensitive. Woman up. Maybe it's time for you to do something in your life and kind of get your shit together. Have you ever thought of that? Absolutely, there's men up here that got crazy shit going on. I talk to them every night. But guess what? Y'all in that same pool at times, but y'all don't want to admit it. So I'm over it. So if you feel as though I'm insensitive, I'm mean, and you can't handle it, my show ain't for you, boo. Go somewhere else. I'm over it. I really am. Every single time. So, I mean, we could just keep lying and just saying, oh, you know what? That sounds good. And then what's going to happen? Ain't no change going to happen. Because when I do stuff, it really comes from a good place. Whether you understand that or not, I'm telling you this from a good place. I'm not a mean-hearted person. I really am not. But you have to give truth if you want to get results. If we keep beating around the bush, saying the same old bullshit, you're not going to get nowhere. And it's because everybody just trying to be too kind. But y'all not even kind. That's what gets me. Y'all not even kind. Y'all are the meanest people in the comment section to these men on my show. But all of a sudden, when we got to talk to a woman, child, Kendra, me, I don't like watching the show. She's too insensitive. Well, guess what, bitch? Don't watch it. It ain't for you. And now that problem is solved. Because I'm going to be who I am. So that's going to be clear. And I ain't forcing you to be here. So if you can't handle it, my show ain't for you. Next.
Y'all, I don't need to say nothing else. Kendra has been dealing with women so much in the comments and things. This is what so many men have been saying. That women can dish it out but can't take it, that they are the meanest. This is a woman who is not some red pill, woman-hating pick-me. Okay? Nobody would call her that. But she is calling out not the men on the show. She's calling out the women where they cannot take accountability. They cannot take being told about themselves, that everything is men and that they are the nastiest, meanest people in her comments. This is shocking because you didn't expect, even she's fed up. And what have we seen so many female dating coaches working with women? They can't deal with it no more because they cannot deal with the toxicity and the unaccountability. Women are unable to take accountability, not all, but she even said the vast majority of the women, over 80% of them, behave this way on her show.
It really is. So I don't want you to watch my show no more. If you feel as though I'm making someone feel low, this show ain't for you. Go do something else with your Saturday night, with your Friday night, with your life. Because I'm over it. Especially when women are literally more mean than the men on my show. Go to the comments on my page. It is 80% women saying the negative things. I'm over that shit. So if you guys can dish it, learn how to take it.
That's the thing, modern women can't take it. But they've been dishing it out for decades now, long before I was even born. You can go back and watch those shows from the 70s and the early 80s. Even in the 90s, especially in the 2000s. It's been at least 5 documented decades of women spewing their rhetoric against men. Sister Shahrazad Ali, she's been dealing with this for decades. Women can call men gay, they can call them scrubs, they can say I can do better all by myself. They could go across all these talk shows speaking down on men about how they don't need a man, how they're going to be independent. I mean, a lot of destructive stuff that's been said over at least 5 decades. But modern women themselves cannot take a couple of minutes of the same criticism or accountability.
And it's that simple. I'm not going to sit up here walking on eggshells, talking to women when they got crazy shit happening in their lives because you guys are so freaking sensitive. Woman up. Maybe it's time for you to do something in your life and kind of get your shit together. Have you ever thought of that? Absolutely. There's men up here that got crazy shit going on. I talk to them every night. But guess what? Y'all in that same pool at times, but y'all don't want to admit it. So I'm over it. So if you feel as though I'm insensitive, I'm mean, and you can't handle it, my show ain't for you, boo. Go somewhere else. I'm over it.
The funny thing is they have so many places to go. Every single media outlet caters to modern women. From broadcast, radio, television, print, online media, social media, all of it.
I really am. Every single time. So, I mean, we could just keep lying and just saying, oh, you know what? That sounds good. And then what's going to happen? Ain't no change going to happen. Because when I do stuff, it really comes from a good place. Whether you understand that or not, I'm telling you this from a good place. I'm not a mean-hearted person. I really am not. But you have to give truth if you want to get results. If we keep beating around the bush, saying the same old bullshit, you're not going to get nowhere. And it's because everybody just trying to be too kind. But y'all not even kind. That's what gets me. Y'all not even kind. Y'all are the meanest people in the comment section to these men on my show. But all of a sudden, when we got to talk to a woman, child, Kendra, me, I don't like watching the show. She too insensitive. Well, guess what, bitch? Go watch it. It ain't for you. And now that problem is solved. Because I'm going to be who I am. So that's going to be clear. And I ain't forcing you to be here. So if you can't handle it, my show ain't for you. Next.
I absolutely love that statement. No one is forcing you to watch something that you claim you don't like. I have these modern women and these toxic 304s all the time coming over here trying to tell me why you talk about this or why you gotta say it like that. If you don't like it, don't watch it. But what you're not gonna do is make me change my views and my values. I understand we live in a world where everything that's right is wrong and wrong is right. But over here, wrong is still the same wrong. You know, the only reason why I even came to do this is because at the time I couldn't find a woman that was saying what I wanted to be said. So I said it. And most people, especially these toxic women, they do not like it. But I let them know this is not for you. Most of the people who don't like my opinion, they've already damaged themselves by their own decisions. So I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the women who haven't messed up yet. I'm trying to prevent them from making the same mistakes that you did because we already know you won't do it. So yeah, I definitely understand where Kendra is coming from. Kendra's audience, they're trying to make her say what they want her to say. And she's basically telling them, wait, I'm going to be me. They're just trying to shame her from telling the truth. So that's why they're telling her that she's being mean, so she'll stop holding them accountable. And like she said, the whole lying to women routine, it must stop because it's not helping.
Here we go.
I started my TikTok, I had 80% female followers. My goal was for women to understand femininity, to tap into their femininity, and also to understand men, because a lot of women are misinformed about how men operate. And the more I started doing content to understand men, my statistics went from 80% females to 38% females. I have more male followers and supporters than I do women, which I find it to be kind of interesting. Wouldn't the women want to understand men and support a page that understands them to better their relationships?
Obviously not.
And I get a lot of heat from women in my comment section for things that I say. I get a lot of backlash. I get a lot of argumentative women in my comment section. I get women who tag big creators telling them to come after me and to come for me. It's kind of crazy. And one thing I'll see a lot that women coaches will say is that men are intimidated by strong women and they'll dump a strong woman for a weak one. It's not that men are intimidated by women. They're not intimidated by women.
Thank you.
The reason why this happens a lot of the times is
Thank you. How I'm going to be intimidated by you and you physically are not as strong as me? Anyway.
it's not that men are intimidated by women. They're not intimidated by women. The reason why this happens a lot of the times is because these strong women are very argumentative women. At the end of the day, when a man goes to work and he's working really hard, he wants to come home to peace in his home, to respect in his home, to joy. He wants to come home to a happy woman.
Yes.
He doesn't want to come home to a combative, argumentative woman who's complaining, criticizing, dominating, nagging at him, rejecting him. A lot of times women that are seen as weaker, which a lot of times they're not, they just aren't openly dominant. They're not openly vocal about things. They're more submissive, if you will, to the public. Those women are more loving. They don't nag and complain and criticize. A lot of times they're happier women. They're easier to be around. They're easier to love. One of the complaints I hear from a lot of male clients is they're tired of getting yelled at for everything by a woman. And I see it a lot with women. They'll come on my comment section. They'll want to debate me, argue with me, pick apart what I say, criticize me, tell me that I'm wrong. They don't want to listen to what I have to say. They don't want to broaden their horizons or open their mind. And if you're a difficult woman, a man will lose interest in you. A lot of women believe that men like a challenge, and yes, they do to a degree, but they do not like challenging women or women that try to challenge them. Have enough challenge at work, they want a relationship.
He has to have a good job, a good education, his own place to live, and pay for the date. And he should always text me first.
Go find these incredible men, and they would be like, I would never date him. I'm like, I just went and found a freaking pilot, a ex-Falcons player. Are you serious? But he don't look, it's like he's gotta be perfect. But you're not perfect. You got issues and unresolved issues, and you got a temper, and you're bossy and you're controlling, and men don't even like to be around you long term. You run everybody away. You think you're so much the ish that you're bougie and vain and stuck up, and men don't like it. And you wonder why you can't keep a man. You wonder why nobody wants to be around you. Sweetheart, listen, get nice. Be sweet. Men are simple creatures. They're simple, but your standards are standardizing you right out of the game.
Why are men bailing out of relationships? I'm always seeing from women in the comments section that men are not men anymore, that they don't want to provide anymore. But we've been living in a society that has constantly shunned men. We have this perpetuation of, well, I don't need a man anymore because I can work on my own and I don't want to be a slave to him. I don't want to be his maid and his cook. A lot of women also kind of shame this whole idea of having children as if it's like beneath them or something. So if a man wants to have a child, why would he settle down with you and marry you and provide for you and be the man for you? Since we have such a prevalent hookup culture, women believe that this kind of idea of being promiscuous is empowering. It's not giving the man the incentive to be the man and the provider and step up for you. Because you're not being a traditional woman yourself, why would he show up as a traditional man for you? We have kind of shunned men out of society. Like, we blame everything on them. We're so oppressed, we say, in the United States, which is so ironic because women are doing better academically. And when women couldn't work, none of us were even alive during that time. So we're making the modern day man pay for what has happened before any of us were even born. The other thing I think is kind of unfair is that women want men to be the sole provider while she also goes to work. And she doesn't want to do the household duties either. She feels like the household duties are also beneath her. So what exactly are you wanting? You want to work full time, make money full time, and then have a man fully provide for you without you doing any kind of work in the home? I know of a woman who is completely provided for by her husband. She doesn't work, she doesn't have kids, and she complains that he does not do laundry. So it's almost like women want men to do everything for them without her lifting a finger to do anything back for the guy. Also, 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And in those divorces, even if the woman cheats, the man has to pay out 50% of his income to her, alimony, 401k, retirement, giving away the house. I've seen a lot of instances like this where men work really hard and then they have to pay out like $500,000 to a woman who cheated on him. So it makes a man weary to actually get married anymore because he's not so sure that a woman is going to stick around. And with all of this man-hating rhetoric we see all over the internet, they don't really feel appreciated in society. And why would they want to show up and provide for women who don't appreciate them?